My husband just called on me one day. Why shouldn't we try this? Somebody came to my office and brought these packages. Why shouldn't we explore? So, there were some doubts, but somehow we picked up the courage to try. And that was how we were able to access loan from the National Housing for NHF, right?
Yeah.
We were able to get the loan to start the very first property we acquired at that time. You know, that was 2007, 2008.
Oh, that's
We
nice.
successfully acquired one property at that time, and then that was how the journey began. And subsequently, do you want me to further share now?
Yes, I want. No, no, I want to.
Okay.
They need feel them in. They need to know. Was it? So you mean it wasn't planned? People were just reaching out to you, and then the thought just came about.
Yes.
It wasn't like you pre-planned, investment in real estate.
Sometimes when it comes to investment in property, you don't have to plan.
I get you.
In some cases, you need to plan.
Jump.
Yeah, but sometimes they come to you with the offer,
Yes.
and then you shouldn't relent. You should just jump at it, as long as you have the courage and then you're focused on what you're doing.
Yeah.
So what happened then is we were both working,
Okay.
although finances were limited, but we had the offer for housing funds,
Yes.
which we quickly dived into
Yeah.
and assessed it.
Okay.
And at that time, properties were going for 5 million. I mean, both the land and the building was
Whoa.
going for 5 million, going for 7-8 million. So that was how we were able to acquire the first one. Then subsequently, by the time we moved in, I started my business. My business started very little in my sitting room,
Yeah.
because I couldn't afford to pay for another property,
Yes,
because we were still financing the property at that time. So I'm one person that I don't want to rush things. At the same time, I'm an achiever. So the passion is there to achieve, and then the journey has to begin.
Yeah.
So that's starting point. So I started little in my sitting room, and then I was able to make some progress and saved money. So when we saved money, there's a building next to me, just a property next to me, which several times they've put up for sale. And then who am I? Then properties rose, because at the time we purchased ours, it was going for like 5 million to 7 million.
Yeah.
But at the time that, I was ready to acquire the next property, it was already at 15 million. Do you understand?
Yes.
Look at the margin within a short
Yeah.
while. It's already 7 to 10 million more. So we were able to acquire that property. We got a percentage discount, and then we ended up paying like 13.5 million. That was the second property at that time. So by the time I tried to acquire the third one, I got that building in the same area for 30 million after a few years. And tell me, those properties are going for 65 million, 70 million at the moment.
I was going to ask you what the property industry, or what the property market looks like.
Families.
Yeah.
If you don't make that decision quickly, you're going to have children to raise in school.
Yeah.
And by the time they start coming, you won't be able to think of purchasing properties again.
Yeah.
So my business picking up was easier because I wasn't paying rent after acquiring 2-3 properties already at that time.
Let's digress a bit. You talked about fear, the fear of jumping into these things, and if you were to touch on the aspect of fear, how did you manage your own fear? Did you have those fears?
I did.
You did.
I did.
Okay. How did you manage the fear? Did you just go regardless?
So the thing is that we God wired us differently.
Yeah.
I, as a person, I am an achiever.
Yes, you
So
mentioned
no amount of fear is going to draw me back. Fear is inevitable.
Yes.
It happens. You would have it as a young person,
True.
especially beginners in business. You would have that fear, that thing that tells you, what if it fails?
True.
What if I get scammed? So, but risk is the only thing that you need to take to make progress to the next level. So that was what was in front of me, to take that risk, to make that investment. And behold, it actually failed some people. But some people, who were quite courageous, pushed in. And at the end of the day, some people got the property, some people got refund, but I got mine. So
Yeah.
I was positive.
Okay, that's quite interesting. Okay, let's talk about some of the benefits that you have enjoyed. I mean, you've enjoyed some benefits, from your investment. Are there specific benefits that you've enjoyed as a result of investing, early, whether financially, whether otherwise? And can you mention some of them?
Quite a number.
Okay, let's
So
go ahead.
number one, As a young family,
Yeah.
I don't pay rent in the city of Abuja. That's a milestone.
That's a milestone. That's something a lot of people are going for.
Yeah, I do not pay business for my rent for my business properties.
Because you own them already.
Yes, we own the facility fee, renovations, and then a little
That's like a
taxes.
huge burden off you already.
It's a burden. And then in my kind of business, I run a school which has existed for over 15 years now. If I was going to pay rent, so the experiences when I was entering is I had a few friends of mine whom we went into the business together.
Okay.
So at some point, some of them got ejected. They got quit notice from their landlords, whose landlord later started the same business in the same property.
Can you imagine?
Because to run a school means that in that location, you're going to get children, number of
Yes.
children. It's not an investment like a supermarket where you go, you can get a shop anywhere. Once you have established in a location, you've had your clients already, you're moving already, you have your number of students. So the thing is, she got an ejection from the landlord, and the landlord started the business in that building. So that was one of my major, instigator, if there's a word like that. It ignited my interest, and come on, go, you can do this. So that was the major interest, and then benefit. I don't pay rent, and then I don't have the burden of having to pay rent and then raise children.
Yeah.
So what we are doing now is to pay our children's school fees, and then my students, I'm not going to leave the location anytime soon because we own the property.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to get any
So
ejection.
you already have like client base
Base,
already.
correct.
Which it's like a huge springboard for the business to even,
Oh my
grow.
God, like-
Yeah. Because a lot of times when we have, considering the nature of your business, where we have schools relocating from one place to the other,
You start again.
you start over again.
start all
and then
over.
you relocate, you have to lose some students.
Yes.
And then, so I can only imagine, are there more benefits that you want to
Yeah, one more.
Yeah.
Like if I was going to pay rent, so which means if I was paying rent as a business, because business should pay rent, which means I'm able to save the rent and then put it together and invest in more properties.
reinvest in more properties. I
Yes.
feel like we should just take I feel like we should take a break, a breather.
Oh my God.
So that people can just take this in. Well, quite interesting conversation.
Thank you.
We'll just go on a breather, we'll go on a break, and we'll be right back shortly.
This land is mine. It's not yours. Look at my documents here to prove that it is mine. This land is not your own, no. Oga, you better go and look for your own land. See my own document here. I don't pay for this land detail. Now my name did the documents like this. Look at my documents. But this land has always been my own land. I've known this land. I've had this land for a while now. It is mine.
Land dispute is as old as civilization itself. From building collapse to authorized demolition, boundary disputes and even encroachment by real estate developers. The good news is that you can avoid these property issues and harness opportunities in the housing sector with the right information. Join us as we discuss everything real estate and the construction industry on the program Property Talk.
Airing live every Monday at 12:30 p.m. on
Armed Forces Radio 107.7 FM Abuja. Property Talk is proudly brought to you by WORIN Nigeria. Don't miss it.
Okay, welcome back, our guests. And today we have Stephanie Itenebe on the show. We've been talking about the benefits of early investment in real estate, and she has been sharing, her own experience with real estate investment. We will get to, milking out some of the information and benefits that she has experienced in the past. But for now, I would like to bring to our awareness some of the properties we have available here at WORIN Nigeria. And so this is Property Alert. The first property on our list, we have Kuje Property Alert. We have 40 units of 4-bedroom terrace duplex payment plan available in a choice and strategic location in Kuje. The second property we have at the Kuje axis, we have a fenced plot measuring about 1,200 square meter with FCA RFO. Airport Property Alert, Airport Road Property Alert. The first on our list is Aviation Village, close to the airport. And we have various sizes of land ranging from 150 square meter to 600 square meters with title document C of O. We also have 5 units of 4-bedroom fully detached duplex going up for sale, and it is seated on about 450 square meter plots of land. This property is located just at Sabun Lugbe layout opposite Glory Dome, Dunamis Church. The third, along the airport road axis, we have a 6-unit or 4-bedroom terrace duplex opposite River Park Estate, close to NUT office, and many more vetted properties. Idu Property Alert, we have 4 hectares of land with titled FCDA RFO. We also have plots of land ranging from 150 square meters to 600 square meters with title document FCDA RFO. So you can call us after the show, emphasis on after the show, to get more details as it relates to this property. I am going to open the phone lines shortly, and I'll be doing that because I want you, our audience, to call in and ask our guests a couple of questions. You probably have some fears, some skepticisms that, you want someone who has gone into the industry, who has dived into the industry to shed more light on. And so we'll open the phone lines shortly. But before we do that, I'd like to know, Stephanie, we talked about the fears earlier. And, sometimes some of these doubts are not just they are not just assumptions in our head. They are real.
They are real.
I mean, they are real. Are there specific things, specific measures you took that enabled you to jump in? Maybe some form of due diligence when you started without, I get the point of risk taking. And I mean, sometimes we just jump into these things without even, we just damn the odds, right? But there are other times where we need to be calculative.
Yes.
There are times where we have to look back and investigate the resources we have available, the reality we live in, right?
Yes.
So I would just like to know, are there some specific things you put in place that shielded you? And if there's none of them, you can just let us know.
So property acquisition checklist.
Okay, yeah, I love that. I love the way you put
Checklist.
it.
So of course these things are worth millions. So
Yeah.
you don't just want to blindly just give money to someone. So you need to check if the papers are in order with AGs. And then if you have developers, because most of us that have done this for a period now, we have people we work with, people who are developers, who are renowned developers who have been in the business for long. They wouldn't want to do anything that would jeopardize their name and businesses.
True.
So through them, we're able to vet this document through AGs. And then another one that I would encourage is that most of these properties, when they come, there's this doubt that this land has been listed for, this area has been listed for demolition, or is not in the Abuja geographical whatever design, and that fear is always there. But like I said, you have to be sure that the organization is renowned. They know what they are doing, and you've seen track record, of the properties they've sold, and then people are occupying already.
Okay,
So those are the things you have to do.
Okay. That makes a whole lot of sense. I'll open the phone lines for our callers, to call in, and the number to call us on is 081 30608527. The number to call us on again is 081 30608527. So over the years, I mean, there have been some changes. We talked about the real estate investment market, shifting over the years. But are there any noticeable changes or growth you have observed in the value of your own properties?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
Where will I start from? If this number of properties that we're using for our businesses right now,
Okay.
Just imagine if we bought them now. We will have a long way to go.
Okay, we have a caller. Let's just take this call and just hold your thoughts. Hi, good afternoon. Your name and where you're calling us from?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is William.
Okay, William. Hi, William.
Emmanuel. I'm calling from Chikwe.
Williams from Jikwe. Your question or contribution, please.
Yeah, I want to make an inquiry.
Okay.
This morning I was hearing advertisement on radio, the same station, about lands that worth 1,750,000
Okay.
and instrumental payment.
Okay.
And as a civil servant, I'm struggling to see if I can get a land where I can pay instrumentally.
Okay.
So I don't know if the madam in your station here is also doing that.
Okay, so we'll attend to your question just shortly. So our guest is not a property developer or a real estate agent. However, we will reach out to you after the show, and we'll share with you some of our own payment plan or the opportunities that we have available. Okay, so you were trying to share with me some of with our audience anyway, some of the visible growth that you have experienced and things like that.
So there are quite a number of them. When in terms of a numerical factor in business, like the kind of business I do,
Yeah.
is school, because I have been stable. I'm
Yeah.
not moving from one place to another. So the number of the students I have in my school have grown.
increased, yeah.
And
That's
because it's
wonderful.
there's proximity to their houses,
Okay.
it's in an estate. So I mean, I've gotten those children to myself already.
Yeah.
Not that I'm changing location. So that is growth on its own. And then the peace of mind that he gives when you're not renting a property. There's a divine heavenly peace that comes with that.
Yeah.
That money can't buy. You just have that settled. When you're running business, you don't have anybody or you don't have any target. Even though we as business people, we still find a way to raise the funds and use it well. But the peace of mind that you're not owing any landlord
Yeah.
is divine.
Top notch. Okay. So if you had waited to invest, do you think you would be able to achieve the same level of success?
With enough stress. Maybe not this level that I am.
Okay.
Because waiting means that
I was going to add why or why not. But I mean, you're already touching on that.
there was no need for me to have waited. For me and for some of my colleagues at that time, whom we left banking together, that didn't have this inspiration at that time. Most of them are still doing rent. Majority of them are still doing rent. And in Abuja, how would you do it if you start raising children already? You already have 3 children counting, and you're paying fees, and then you're talking about rent. So people paying rent now is going to be really difficult for them.
That's true. That's true. Okay, so what's your advice to young professionals or first-time investors who think that real estate is too expensive or inaccessible? And let's bear in mind, the fact that it is actually getting expensive now. So usually during our conversation, I like to be as realistic as possible because I understand that some people's realities are
Different.
the realities are just different anyway. But what would you say? What's an advice you
They
have?
should not be afraid. They should take the bull by the horn. Anything worth doing should even have a start before doing well. So they should learn to take the bull by the horn. One major thing that I like to talk about beginners because they are the one that needs to make this investment like as quick as yesterday.
And when you say beginners, who are the category of people you are referring to? Maybe the demographic.
People who are already in business,
Okay.
and then
Starters.
the early starters, people who are just starting,
Okay.
or maybe they've run their businesses for like 5 years,
Okay.
and they are still paying rent. I mean, they should just make the effort to acquire properties quickly. And I know one major thing that limits us is lack of focus. If you know the value of property and the value it will be in the next 5-10 years, if you're still in that business, the best time is now. Invest in that property because there's nothing like having your own location. Business is about location, especially the kind of business that I do and most people do, talks about location. If you have your own location, that place is guaranteed. Then you're going to now have another location and another location. So they should try to focus. They should focus and avoid any form of distractions that would limit you. Because when you start business as a beginner, you're going to be having people calling you. I need 200,000, I need 400,000, I need 500. Those are monies that you put into business. As a matter of fact, there's an agency, a developer, that came to us as a group of school owners because we have association and offered us plots of land at a rebate, like a discounted rate, and gave us a period to pay. And some people are just looking. Why those still doing ones? They're jumping at it already. Just buy it, just try. And then if you can't pay gradually. These people give you period to pay. So is that fear is how they will save up to that money. Once you are focused and you are gathering your money small, you can go for the NHF loan. Find a way to assess it because they also give to business owners, not just government workers like civil servants and the public. They give to business owners. So they will educate you and then give you method of loans that are flexible.
Yeah.
Because the first one we acquired with loan, we could pay for over 30 years, over 20 years. We pay about, let me say, 30,000 monthly. Yes, which we've paid for over 17 years now. So 30,000 monthly for now is nothing.
Yeah,
We are still paying. We don't want to rush because that money you use,
Yes,
you other
sometimes
things.
launch, sometimes
Exactly. So
Okay, so let's talk a bit about you mentioned something really critical, and what you mentioned was savings. And from the perspective of someone who has benefited over the years, we have had guests, developers, and people who are literally selling these properties. But now we're having the perspective of a person who has benefited from this. You touched on savings, and I just want you to lend your voice, or to just give some form of advice. You talked about, you don't want to rush the 30,000 naira.
Yes.
Just touch a bit. A lot of people think that when it comes to savings, you have to have like millions of naira in your
no,
account
not at all.
and all of those. But if you were to give an advice as it relates to the savings, what would you say?
Anything you're earning as a young person, it doesn't have to be in millions. Once you're focused from that your early beginning, just have it in mind that property is part of life. Just like you got married, you have children, property is part of life. It's something you're certainly going to do. Yeah. So the way you pull through, why saving money to get married, the way you pull through, why paying hospital bills to give birth and all that, that is how you should also be encouraged to pull through owning your own building. So what should you do? Maybe your earnings are not enough. There are, what do we call it? There's a word I'm looking for. Like in every organization, they have this team of association.
Okay.
Help me
Where
with
they
this
put money
word.
together.
Yes.
Contribution.
Yeah, like not contribution. There's a name for it. Where I remember, they have this
Cooperative.
Cooperative. God bless you. Cooperatives. Join cooperatives.
Yeah.
Before you've saved a reasonable amount, and there are locations that are affordable.
Yeah.
So sometimes we believe too much in Usetu, Metama. Those are for people who have existed retirees. Where these things are happening. Because if you want to run a school now as a person, if I want to acquire a property, I won't be thinking of ASO Drive. I'm not being realistic. I won't be thinking of Use.
The funny thing, I like the fact that you are touching on this, because the next question I was going to ask you is that from the lens, or through the lens of
Yes.
the person who is actually acquiring, do you have some locations in mind? Because I don't think there's any stopping you.
No,
I think
nothing.
you are also still looking.
I'm looking
at some
like I'm
places-
just starting in my own head.
areas or locations you think that people should be looking at.
Yes, you can't be a starter and begin to put eyes in town. There are areas that are in categories. You should look at Lugbe, down Airport Road, down Kubwa, Aziz, not even Jukwe this time, Okaru, Kurudu, Orozo. There are lands in those areas that
I've had people who will say, "Oh, God forbid, they will never go."
those
to
places we develop. That was how we went to Lugbe area, like a joke. Before we knew what was happening, everywhere you need to come to my area. Estates have so developed. They've escalated. In fact, anything you do there now, hotels have springed up, schools, hospitals. Everything is working.
Yeah.
Everything is working.
That's like a community.
Yeah, that when we
themselves.
started, there were just few houses. There were just few houses. But now, everywhere, in fact, there is a major traffic coming out because of the number of people that are invested in those areas.
Wow.
So why put eyes in big places? So go to those remote areas, which with time, in the next 5 years, everywhere would open.
Yeah. Wow, really insightful and interesting conversation.
Thank you.
Okay, so finally, let's just look back a bit. What would you say has been your biggest lesson from your journey in real estate?
My biggest lesson is having to take this decision early without allowing fear to stop me. We took the decision early and then we went in. Now there's peace of mind, and I stand to inspire anyone who is ready to, do this kind of thing, take this kind of bold step. I call it bold step because it's not for the weak-minded.
Yeah.
So it's been a lesson for me that what if I didn't take this decision at that time? I would have been struggling now, but now I am relaxed. Nothing pressures me.
I can see it on your face anyway.
You
The
know?
glow is different. Oh
my God.
The glow is
Thank you,
different.
thank you.
Okay, I think I have one final question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Were you ever scammed?
Not myself, my husband. Oh my God.
Okay, I would say, how did you?
I can
how
hardly
did
be
you guys-
scammed.
Why are you so confident? Why?
No, not really. I'm just human. Maybe it has not happened.
Okay, I get it. But how did you handle it? How did you manage it?
Sometimes when you're buying property, that having good background information about people you're investing with, is very key.
Yeah.
Just buying with secular people, like investing with secular organization or a location where you are not close to. They just tell you one land is being sold in Benin or in Ibadan, and then you just give somebody money, they help you acquire the property, and a little while they call you and tell you somebody's fencing the property.
How do you even get there?
It has even happened here in Abuja, but if it's somewhere you can quickly drive down,
Yes.
and then they reallocate to you, it's different. But this particular one, before we knew somebody, and maybe it happens to be community land. No, you didn't vet properly.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
those are the things you need to do.
Wow, it feels like we unpacked a whole lot in
Thank
this
you.
conversation. Thank you so much, Stephanie.
You're welcome.
Really
darling.
appreciate it. Feels like we want to bring you back again.
Oh my God.
Thank you. What a powerful and inspiring conversation, we've had today. Our guest has not only shown us, the financial benefits of early investment, but, she has also talked about the lifestyle, the long-term security that comes with, investing. She talked about the peace of mind that she and her family enjoys, and she talked about expansion, growing her business, and things like that. So to our listeners, the takeaway from this session is simple. Don't wait for the perfect time to invest. Start where you are, start with what you have, and let time work in your favor. Well, at WORIN Nigeria, we are committed to helping you make smarter property decisions. We connect you with trusted developers, guiding you through your real estate journey. For the person who called earlier, we are going to be reaching out to you, and you can also reach out to us after, the segment. We want you to follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at WORIN Nigeria on all social media platforms, and WORIN is WORIN. If you have properties to sell, properties to manage, promote, you can reach out to us. We are here to partner with you. Like we always say, conversation continues offline. If you have questions, you can drop them in the comment section on our social media profiles. You can send us a DM, you can call us, you can text us or chat us up on WhatsApp. Once again, thank you so much to our amazing guests.
Thank
Stephanie,
you,
really
Mom.
appreciate you for sharing your journey, for being vulnerable, for opening up. And, want to say thank you to our listeners again for tuning in. Join us again next week for another insightful episode of Property Talk. And until then, remember the best time to invest was yesterday. The second best time to invest is now. Today, don't wait until tomorrow. So see you same time, same station next week.
This land is mine. It's not yours. Look at my documents here to prove that it is mine. This land is not your own. No.